Hi, you guys. It's Yaz, and today I'm going to talk about what a narcissist is thinking during the silent treatment. What do you think a narcissist is really thinking when they give you the silent treatment? Well, a narcissist went silent on you because they're being passive aggressive. Covert narcissists do this all the time. They want to torture you with silence, okay? It's a way they fight. This is the way the covert narcissist fights. Particularly this is their tactic is the silent treatment. And they want to punish you. Most of the time they go silent because they want to punish you. They want you to pay for something that you may have said. Maybe you tried to get them to be accountable. And what's that narcissist going to do? They're going to go silent. And why do they go silent? Because they want you to suffer. They want you to suffer, okay? It is a form of emotional abuse. That's exactly what it is. It's a form of emotional abuse. Now they're cutting off all communication with you, and they want you begging. That's the next thing they want. So a narcissist, they're thinking, okay, you want to bring things up to me. You want to make me accountable. Now I'm going to go run completely silent on you and torture you, all right? And what they're hoping for is that you come begging to them and you apologize. Narcissists want you to bow down to them and apologize. The other reason that they're going silent on you is to train you to never open your mouth. So a narcissist figures, okay, you want to bring up things and blame me for things or try to make me accountable. Now, every time you bring it up, I'm just going to go silent on you and I'm going to ignore you. And, I'm not going to even engage with you. I'm going to ice you out. This is what it is. It's the ice out, right? So they're training you to never, ever be able to express your feelings or they will go silent on you. And that is why you have to be unfazed by it. When a narcissist goes silent on you, you have to enjoy the peace, all right? You have to say to yourself, okay, you want to go silent? Go silent till the next 3 years. I don't care. Now I don't deal with you. But one thing you don't do is you never, ever go begging and looking for the narcissist, because when you do that, you lose your power, all right? So never, ever go begging for the narcissist. When they run silent on you, you go about your life. You do everything that you have to do in your life, all right? And you make like it doesn't even faze you. Now, the funny thing is, if you run silent on the narcissist, they're going to do the exact same thing. They're going to make like it doesn't faze them, all right? And what they're going to do, but it is bothering them. It does bother them when you run silent, unless they're busy with another supply or something and they figure they'll just come back later. But they figure that eventually you're going to break. And when you don't break, they're going to try to provoke you to break, all right? They're going to do things that are going to make you angry so that you do respond to them. But when a narcissist runs silent on you, like I said, it's a form of emotional abuse. This person can't communicate directly. This is what it is. Covert narcissists can't communicate directly. They don't want to communicate directly because to communicate directly means that they have to face shame and take accountability. This is why they love to sweep it under the rug. Or they say, oh, you're bringing that up again? All right. Or they'll say, let's just move on from here. All of it is to sweep all the shame under the rug and not have to deal with it. Or they'll just, they'll get angry and they run silent on you. And then as time goes by, when they start to see that you're not breaking, then they could try to provoke you into talking, all right? Do things like leave a mess around the house, get you really angry so that you say something. Or they could slowly come around, and when they come back to you, they're not going to bring up the argument. They're going to make like it never even happened, all right? And people say, why did they do that? Why do they do that? Because they don't want to bring up the argument. The argument brings shame. This is what a narcissist is very fearful of, shame. This is why they're afraid of exposure. It brings shame. So instead, when they figure they tortured you enough, or they figure like, oh, it didn't get to you, you're still, going about your life, and they start to soften up, then all of a sudden they start talking to you about other things and acting like nothing ever happened. This could be a situation where you could end up having a big fight with a narcissist. They go to sleep, And then the next day they pretend like nothing ever happened, all right? Because they got it off their chest and now they feel better about themselves. But they're never going to apologize, mind you. Never, ever going to apologize. And if you say something to them, they could run silent on you again. So this is what they'll do. They try to fight. This is what it is. It's a form of fighting. Silent treatment is a form of fighting. But what's going through the narcissist's head is they want to see how much control they have over you. And they're going to know that by how long you can stay no contact and silence with them, all right? The longer you could stay silent with the narcissist, the more that narcissist is going to have respect for you because you're not bowing down to them, all right? Narcissists, they want you to bow down. And what is bowing down? Coming up to them and saying things like, can we talk? Why are you running silent? Well, why every time we have an argument, you run silent? Do you really think you're going to get anywhere with that? You're not. The narcissist is going to just ignore you again, all right? Or they're going to gaslight you and say, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just busy or something like that. They're going to gaslight and pretend like they're not giving you a silent treatment. They're just into their own thing, all right? So you will never, ever get clarity from a narcissist. They are not about clarity. That's why you never try to resolve conflict with a narcissist. It's futile, okay? These people don't want to give you clarity because, again, they don't want to face shame. They don't want to be accountable. They don't want to say that they did anything wrong. So instead, they deflect. And one of the ways they deflect is that awful silent treatment. And it's awful. When you live with somebody who gives you the silent treatment, it's terrible, okay? It is terrible to live in a house with somebody who gives you the silent treatment because you feel completely alone. It's awkward. You feel a sense of awkwardness, you don't want to give in to them and say something because that's giving away your power, but yet you feel, uncomfortable. And this is what they want. The narcissist's whole goal is to make you feel uncomfortable. It's to torture you. It's to isolate you. It's to make you feel lonely. It's supposed to give you anxiety. It's going to give you depression. And what's this going to do? It's going to break you down so that they can control you, so that you're always begging for them to engage with you. That's why you've got to be independent and not care, all right? Not care. But you also don't want to live like this. You got to reevaluate a relationship when you're dealing with somebody who's always giving you the silent treatment. You've got to check them in a situation like that. You've got to check them. And you've got to be like, listen, this is not how I roll, all right? When I have a problem, I have an issue, I like to sit down, talk about it, work it out, meet in the middle. When I'm wrong, I'm going to say I'm wrong. When you're wrong, I expect you to be able to take ownership and say when you're wrong. And the narcissist is either going to say, yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that. They could just gaslight you and appease you and say, yeah, no, right. Okay. I get it. And if you say, well, if you ever do that again, you and I will not be talking. That's your way of letting the narcissist know that, you mean business, that you're not going to put up with that. See, some narcissists don't care. They can't help themselves. They just can't. They've got to avoid that shame, and they just can't help themselves. They just have to keep going into these silent treatments. So that's when you have to come to the realization, ding, 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 whether you want to be with somebody who can't communicate, okay? And that's why a relationship with a narcissist is so torturous, because if you're dealing with a covert narcissist, you're dealing with somebody who can't communicate directly. So, you have to reevaluate whether you want to be with this person or you don't want to be with this person, okay? Whether you want to deal with this crap or you don't want to deal with this crap. Because occasionally they're going to keep doing it. Even if you pretend like it doesn't bother you and everything like that, that will minimize them doing it, but they're still going to do it because this is their basic nature, to avoid shame, and this is the way that they are conditioned to fight, all right? That's why covert narcissists are awful to deal with. You will feel alone. You will feel like you're with a roommate. You'll feel you're with a cold, detached, it's like a corpse walking around your house, all right? I've been there. I know what it is. It's horrible, okay? They keep you in the dark. So you guys, you have to make a conscious decision whether you want to be with somebody who can't communicate or whether you want to say, not today, Satan, I deserve better than this, all right? But what's going through a narcissist's mind is the fact that they want to see you break down. And especially if you're an empathic type of person that always communicates, all right? You don't like when you're not talking. See, when a narcissist knows that you don't like when you're not talking, they're going to do it even more to torture you because they're torturers. They want to torture you so that you shut your mouth. It's a way to train you to shut your mouth, walk on eggshells, and be afraid to say anything to that narcissist because you're living in fear that they're going to go right into a silent treatment. It's a horrible, horrible way to live. Horrible way to live, okay? So, you guys, it's like this. You have to make a conscious decision of how you want to live. I mean, you could put up that boundary and you could say to them, if you keep running silent, I'm not going to deal with you. You do it again, I'm not going to deal with you. And, they may not do it for a while, but eventually they probably will do it again because narcissists always repeat the same patterns. So it's what you can and can't live with. This is what you got to figure out. What you can and can't live with, all right? But narcissists, when they're doing that, they think they're slick. They think they're sly. They're not telling you what. A lot of times they run silent too, is to put you in the dark and not tell you why they're pissed. You know how many times I dealt with my covert narcissistic ex for 13 years and he would run silent and half the time I never even knew what it was about? I never even knew what it was about because he didn't communicate directly. It wasn't until later on when I looked over the whole relationship and I realized that the ex-narcissistic mother-in-law was the catalyst, the fire starter behind it, who was causing resentment in him to the point where he couldn't communicate with me because he was conditioned, don't say anything, don't say anything. This is what these covert narcissists do. Especially if they're groomed by other covert narcissists, they're taught to not say anything. Oh, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't tell them this, don't tell them that. So they hold everything inside and they figure, I'm not going to tell you what's bothering me. I'm going to torture you by going silent on you and make you wonder and then hope that you come back to me and you're begging like, what's wrong with you? Why are you silent? What's the matter? This is how they want to bring you to your knees. It's horrible, okay? So, you guys, if you're dealing with somebody who can't communicate with you, you better reevaluate whether you want to deal with them at all because you don't want to have years of this emotional abuse. Okay, till you get to that point where you just can't stand it anymore. This is what's going to happen. You're going to get to the point where you can't stand it anymore. You're going to get disgusted and you're not going to want to deal with that person anymore. But you know what's going to happen? You're going to have that regret like, why didn't I leave them sooner? Why did I live so many years of my life with this toxic person that, would fight me with silence? Why didn't I leave sooner? Okay? So the minute you see that toxic behavior is the minute you say, not today, Satan. I'm out of here. You can go be silent with the next one because I'm going to deal with somebody who's able to sit down and communicate. I'm not dealing with this kind of nonsense, this baby shit. And that's what it is. It's baby shit. It's somebody who's afraid to open up and be vulnerable. That's what it is. Okay. You're dealing with a mental midget. That's what they are. They're a mental midget that can't open up and think that they're being cute and they're playing a little game with you. So you show them that you're not going to play games by not dealing with them and not engaging with them and not begging them. That's how you handle that covert narcissist who likes to run silent on you because they think that they're clever and smart in how to punish you. All right. This is what it is. It's punishment. This is what they want to do. They want to punish you. All right. So again, they're thinking that they're gloating when they see you suffering. That's why you can't show that it's bothering you. You've got to be indifferent to it. You can't show, you got to be indifferent to it. You got to be like, listen, they want to go silent. good luck to you, okay? I still got to live my life. Now I don't deal with you. I deal with someone else, all right? And if I'm married to you or I'm living with you, then that is a whole other issue of whether you want to live your life with somebody who's walking around in silence, all right? Like I said, you could put that boundary up and they might be okay for a little while, but eventually they're going to go back and they're going to do it again, you guys. I'm telling you, they're going to do it again. This is what they do. This is their pattern. So I hope that helps you. If it does, hit the subscribe, share the podcast. If you're looking for confidential one-on-one phone coaching, check out the link in the bio at askgaz.wixsite.com/thegameexposed. I'm not going to have many more coaching sessions because I'm working on other projects and I just don't have the time for it. Facebook, the new page is The Game EXP 777. TikTok is The Game Exposed. YouTube is The Game Exposed Podcast. And Instagram is The Game EXP 123. And have a great day, guys.